And I can skip putting it up on Zoom. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Greenville 1099 chapter. Sorry we got off to a little bit of a late start here due to technical difficulties. Let's take a quick minute and do a 30-second introductory speech. I'll go first. My name is Lyndah. I actually wear two hats. I am the founder of the 1099 Ladies, a non-seat specific, no-cost networking group for ladies. There it is. I'm not nervous at all. I'm also a financial advisor with Primerica. And here's how I'm different from other financial advisors that you might know. I help with debt management. I help shift my clients away from paying for their past towards investing into their future. And probably maybe even more importantly, I've met a great many people building this networking group. I am sure I know somebody you need to know. So people who work with me, not only can I help them get a handle on their money life, I can also help them grow their business by making valuable introductions. Lyndah of the 1099 Ladies. Tammy, would you like to go next?
Sure. I am Tammy Taz with Rock the Taz Bar Photography. Do you want a relaxed photo session? Do you feel nervous in front of the camera? Do you feel the camera doesn't capture your personality? Well, guess what? Everybody has a personality, and I will bring it out on the pictures. I am different than other photographers by I stop the clock for you to do an outfit change. So, because you're not paying me while I'm just sitting there waiting for you to change, so I stop the clock. So if you're doing outfit changes, you just let me know, and I book extra hours instead of just the hour. You're paying only for the hour, but I book in time for your changing so that I have travel time and change time for you guys to change your outfit. And I'm also doing a fundraiser for women entrepreneurs. What I'm doing is collecting donations so that when I find an entrepreneur just starting out that needs headshots, the donations are gonna go to pay for her session and part of her digital gallery, so that she gets the gallery for free. And also right now, ladies that belong to the 1099 group are getting the free digital gallery, and that's a $537 value. Tammy Taz, Rock the Taz Bar Photography.
All right, Carol.
Dolores, go ahead, Dolores.
Oh, you go. I'm okay.
Carol, you go. Go ahead, my real estate buddy.
Okay. Hi there, I'm Carol Leong. I am a realtor here in Greenville with Aldridge and Sutherland. However, I've actually expanded my reach. I don't just stay in Greenville. I have actually been selling in the Crystal Coast, in Indian Beach, between Emerald Isle and Beaufort. And I'm also expanding to Jacksonville and New Bern. So have house, will travel. That's my motto.
That's a good one. All right, Dolores, bring it home for us.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dolores Reese. Everybody calls me Lois. I was on, I think, the first time, and I couldn't get the computer to have me to have a voice. I'm with the Ladies of Justice Initiative by Legal Shield. Our mission is to improve lives and services and to provide women the opportunity and the environment to build belief and confidence. We deliver affordable, accessible legal services and identity theft protection through our growing network of what we call ourselves LOJ ambassadors, Legal Ladies of Justice ambassadors. And we have a range of the entire United States, Canada, and the UK, okay? From real estate to divorce, to will preparation, any kind of legal matter, we're there to service you. So we are not just one service for a certain thing, but we service everybody, no matter where you are, who you are, and we're there to help you as much as we can. If you ever asked yourself, have you ever had a bill collector to call you, or have you ever had got a speeding ticket, or have you ever signed a contract? That could even be for your telephone, whatever. You know, that's what we do. We're there to look at the trivia to the traumatic. So that's why we say it's for everybody, everywhere, anytime to do that.
Very good. Very good.
Okay.
Okay, so, and with those wonderful introductions, we're going to lead right into our presentation. And I'm here today to talk to you about how money works. And it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. In fact, it's the opposite. It's a common sense guide to financial success. You know, there's a common misconception that the average or the ordinary folks can't become millionaires. But you know what? Nothing could be further from the truth. So how come it's not happening? Well, the game of money has rules, and not everybody knows all the rules. That's why everybody isn't winning. But I'm here to tell you, you can get out of debt, you can build a savings, and you can get on the path to financial independence. Take control. First of all, before I even move into this, who here would like to be a millionaire? Would anybody like to feel, and even if it's not a millionaire, would anybody like to feel a relief from the stress that's related to money?
Yes.
Okay. So taking control is really about understanding the rules. And once you understand the rules, you'll change what you're doing, and then you'll feel more empowered. So let's go forward. All right. So this is actually a really long lesson, and I'm not going to be able to go through the whole thing. I'm only going to, because this is a 30-minute presentation, I'm only going to hit on a couple of these. But if you are interested, I'm going to put my contact information in the chat box, and I will follow up with the second half of this lesson with a one-on-one for the bottom half, and also an independent financial plan for you to get yourself on track if you feel like that's something you need. Okay. So here are some things I'm going to be talking about today. Paying yourself first, adjusting your priorities, changing your thinking, adjusting your lifestyle. We're going to talk a little bit about the credit trap and setting goals and having a plan. All right, so what does that mean, pay yourself first? So what I want to propose to you is, most of us here, I'm sure, have a checking account and probably a savings account. And a common practice is for us to pay our bills and live through the month. And if there's anything left over at the end of the month, we try to put some of that into a savings account. And a lot of times, no money ever makes it into the savings account because at the end of the month, the money's gone. In fact, some people are even in the red. So the first thing I want you to shift your thinking about doing is, at the beginning of the month when you're paying your bills, I want you to pay your savings account like a bill, even if it's just $25, because doing something is better than doing nothing. And even if you have to go back and borrow the money, at least you're trying. So that's the first shift I want you to consider. And people who are empowered financially have an emergency fund, which is 2 months worth of expenses. They have a short-term savings that they can use for little things like a flat tire that obviously wasn't planned, or a repair to the washing machine. And then they have long-term savings and investments for when they're ready to retire. So what you're going to start off is creating that emergency fund and short-term savings. And when we get where we can, we will then dip into the investment side. Okay, using time and consistency. All right, so here's what I want to talk to you about. This is called the Rule of 72. This is actually a very important financial rule. So there's a lot of numbers on the screen right now. I want you to focus on the column that says 3%. You'll notice at year 0, we have $10,000. So I just put numbers to it to explain it. It doesn't really matter about $10,000. It could be $100. So say you have $10,000 and you put it in a savings account, and that savings account is paying you 3% interest. The question you want to ask is, how soon will I double my money? And the answer is in the math. You take 3% and you divide it into the number 72. That gives you 24. So that's the answer to the question. In 24 years, that's when your money will double. And you can see here, if your eyes follow down the column, that at year 24, you now have $20,000. And then again at year 48, you now have $40,000. So this is what I would say could represent a savings account. Now, if you doubled that interest rate to 6%, you can see very quickly, we divide 6 into 72, it comes up to 12. Now, at 6%, you've doubled your money at 12 years, 24 years, 36 years, and 48 years. So just even a little bit of an increase, look, you've doubled the interest, but you've quadrupled the savings. Can you see that in the yellow column? All right, now let's go to the last column, it's 12%. That can represent maybe a credit card. So $10,000 at 12%, at 48 years, you have $2,560,000. That's a ton of money. So here's what I want to point out to you. This is the math that supports you getting an emergency savings account. Because instead of when an emergency happens, you go into your credit card, I want you to go to your savings account. Because we're putting our money in the bank, and then the bank is lending it back to us. And look at their profit margin. This kind of explains why everybody is in the credit card business. The gas companies, Belk's, JCPenney, TJ Maxx. Don't you wonder why you're going to a clothing store and they're trying to sell you their credit card today? If you buy a credit card today, we'll give you a certain percentage off your purchase. Do you see why everybody wants to get into the credit card game? Because look at the profit margin. However, if you build yourself an emergency savings account and you borrow from yourself when you have an emergency, you become the bank. And then you're on autopilot with every month paying, so you're setting up a natural way to replenish that savings account. If and when you needed it, you already have a way to put the money back and build it back up, because every month you have this practice. That's why I started with that. But I wanted to really show you the numbers. Can you see how much money the bank is making off of those credit cards? Is that like really clear when you look at these numbers? Anybody? Are you guys there?
I muted myself, but yeah, I can see that, you know,
Okay,
that
got me nervous.
right, that column at the right, extreme right, that's how much money they're making off of us. Because if we
That's
owe
right.
10,000, we're gonna have to owe like 2.5 million
Yeah.
at the end of 48 years if we didn't pay it off.
Right, and I want you to think about this. When the bank lends you money via a credit card or a loan, whose money are they lending you? Yours. When you put the money in the savings account, they're lending you back your own money and charging you interest on your own money. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So that is why I really want to drive this point home, because people always say, oh, yeah, that's a nice idea. But now when you see the math, you can say it's not just a nice idea, it's the idea, because people who have an emergency savings account and don't need credit to fund their lives are immediately in a better position financially than those who don't. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, so the next step we're going to talk about is paying off debt. I always say when you're in the hole, step one, stop digging. So let's look at this. Did you know if you made a one-time $3,000 credit purchase, and that could be something like, you know, a washer dryer set or a new appliances for the kitchen, right? At 18% interest with no new purchases made, if you only made the minimum payments, it would take you 10 years to pay that purchase off, and you would pay $2,002 in interest, which is basically twice the price of your original purchase. Isn't that amazing?
It's crazy.
That's why those minimum payments, to me, it was like predatory lending. And so they passed a law that now when you get your credit card statement, it shows if you make the minimum payment, this is how long it takes to pay it off. If you pay a little bit more, you'll pay it off this much faster and you'll save this much interest. They have to tell you that now. They didn't used to have to tell you that. Okay, so the next thing I want to point out is the difference between a fixed debt and a revolving debt. In a revolving debt, here's $17,000 at 18% interest. So that could be like a credit card, right? At $595 a month, you'll have paid $12,500 in interest, and it'll take you 17 years and 2 months to pay it off. Whereas if you had like a car loan, same amount of money, same interest rate, same monthly thing, but because it's fixed, you're paying it off. Look how much less, it's 3 years, 2 months, and look at the difference in interest that you paid. Because, so one of the pushbacks I get when I say to somebody, let's talk about a debt consolidation loan. Oh, it's the same difference. No, it's, look at the numbers. Isn't there, do you see a difference? There's like almost 15 years difference. It's amazing. Or 14 years difference, and also $7,000 difference. So definitely there's something to be said about debt consolidation loans, even if they have the same interest rate, are better for you than the revolving line of credit. Okay, here's something called the debt stacking concept. So you have a retail card, you know, that would be like the TJ Maxx card or Belk's, a credit card, which would be like a Visa, a car loan, and I guess another credit card, and then your mortgage. So your total monthly bills are $2,720, with you making the minimum payments for everything. Okay, so they want you to do is add 220, so you're gonna zero out this first card, and when you zero out this card, now you're gonna take the 220 that you used to send to that card and add it to the second card. And then once you've paid off the second card, you take that $573 that you're used to paying to that card and you add it to the car loan. So it's not, and then when you're done with the car loan, you're going to take this, what you're used to paying out here, and add it onto the last credit card. And then when you've eliminated all that debt, you can take that debt and you can add it onto your mortgage payment, with the idea of completely emancipating yourself from debt. So this, it says the category without the debt stacking takes you 23 years, and this is the interest that you've paid. With the debt stacking, you pay it off 9 years sooner. Look at the interest you avoid.
Whoa.
It's amazing, right? And it's the same monthly payment. Come on. Oh, is that the last slide? Okay. So these are things that are common credit mistakes. Number one, they don't value their credit. They're like, oh, I have to live. Who cares about those numbers? They raise the credit card limits. They don't monitor their credit history. So that's when sometimes you're subject to fraud because you don't pay attention to it. So you don't even realize it's going on. That you don't even bother to monitor your credit score, and that you don't even know your interest rates and fees. A lot of times when I meet with people, I'll say, capture your mail from last month, bring all your credit card statements with you to the meeting, even if we're meeting with Zoom, because they have them handy so that we can record, because there's a couple of ways you can arrange the debt stacking. You can arrange it from the lowest amount you owe to the highest, because it feels good to pay off low amounts. You get like a little emotional rust. But if you're more of a math person, then you can arrange it by the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate, which would always be like the mortgage and the car. But you want to get rid of that debt first. So there's no wrong way. There's just trying to have a plan. Okay, so this is talking about, now we're moving into the investing part, the time value of money. So it says here that this individual A contributes $5,500, so it's $600 a month into an investment, a mutual fund. And he just does it for 7 years and then he stops. Okay, see ages 22 to 29. And then the rest of it is just compound interest. And then here's a person at 30 who starts saving, and he saves all the way up to age 67. And I want you to float your eyes to the bottom. The first person actually has more money and they've only contributed 44,000, but what it is they had all those years. And I kind of show this slide to younger people because younger people think, oh, I'll start saving for my retirement later, you know, when I'm older. And I try to show them, no, the best time to save for your retirement is right now when you're young, because compound interest is a powerful thing. So I know that people on the call today aren't all a bunch of 20-year-olds. I can see that. But the thing is, you know, people in that age range. So if you know anybody, children, nieces, nephews, cousins, neighbors, who you think I can help with their stuff, I would totally welcome the opportunity to, one, teaching them the rules of the game for money, and also setting them up for success with saving for their retirement now as a young person. So you want to become an owner, not a loaner. And that is, again, going back to owning a house instead of renting, which is, you know, singing the song of the real estate agent here. But it also talks about using your savings account instead of your credit card. It's both of those things. And it says, for years, financial experts used the analogy of the three-legged stool. This is the theory of Social Security would be one way that you would fund your retirement, some sort of company pension, and then personal savings. But as we can see in modern times, many people don't have company pensions anymore. We do have, some companies do offer 401ks, but what about my audience is self-employed women. So I always like to say to women, you know what, you're successful at your business because you're great at taking care of your customers, but who's taking care of you? I'd like to be a part of that. I'd like to partner with you and help you just squirrel away a little bit each month, putting it off towards your future to create your own little company pension. And then the personal savings, again, is for you to use so that you don't have to go into your 401k and take money out. You have your own personal savings to handle emergencies of a local nature with. The rate of return is the key. Here's that $10,000 investment. If it was in the it just is just comparing different possible investments that you could use. This is the rate of inflation. This is this represents like a money market, T-bills or certificates of deposit. Here's bonds, and here's the Standard & Poor's. This is from 2017. These numbers are not current. They're just examples. And even though they're not exactly what it is today, they're similar enough that the slide is still relevant. And of course, past performance is no guarantee of future results. And I think if that feels like you don't know what you're doing, that's why I have a job. None of us are going to replace our own kidneys. None of us are going to climb up and put a roof on our house or pour cement in our driveways. So if we're delegating those things to other people who do it for a living, you should consider doing the same thing with your investing. I know it sounds super cool and sexy to pick stocks and try to fly by the seat of your pants, but this is your life savings we're talking about. If you want to have fun, go to Vegas, but leave the life savings to a professional. I would be honored and privileged if you picked me, but if you don't pick me, that's okay, but you should try to work with somebody. The path to financial independence starts with understanding these basic components and implementing them. Winning the financial war is a result of winning tiny day-to-day battles. And if you put together a simple plan and follow it, you'll be amazed at the progress you can make. And I would love to go over the second half of this lesson with you and help you make that plan and empower you. So I'm going to hit exit and come back to here, and I'm going to stop the share. And here we are. So what did you think of the presentation? What was maybe your takeaway? Is there anything there that was surprising to you or that you felt like you learned today?
I have to say I like the graphs.
Okay, good. What about you,
Sorry.
Dolores?
I would say that it was the emergency fund opposed to using a credit card. I would use a credit card faster than I would my savings.
Yeah, a lot of
see,
people feel that way.
yeah, seeing, you know, the example, it sort of switched my thinking.
Excellent.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I can do that. Yeah, I like that.
Excellent. What about you, Carol? Did you see anything that was thought-provoking?
Yeah, I think all of this stuff actually should be shown to kids when they're younger. Like, I think the education system does not allow for financial planning or financial management, and it should, because it starts from really young. Because I think kids, like even middle school, high schoolers, they get set in their spending habits already, and then they see their parents who might not be good examples of
Right.
savers or investors, so they should actually have that as a class.
Like a home
But
ec
I love,
class almost.
Yeah, I want to tell you something.
Finance 101.
I have another slide, which I should have stuck in here. I forgot. If you, as a parent, the day your child is born, take $1,000 and put it in an account and don't touch it. By the time that child turns 65, they will have $500,000 from $1,000.
wow.
Most people can afford to do that. So I usually say to grandparents, you know, let's start a small account for your grandchildren. Just, you know, something, get it up to $1,000 and then just pretend it's not there and leave it alone. Because you are totally setting that person up for success when they're ready to retire.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Because compound interest, you know, you realize you're giving it 65 years to grow,
mhm.
right? Or 67, you know, with the new the new age. So that's a lesson in exponents, basically, is what's going on there, right? So fifth grade math is, but most people don't realize that, you know. So I really want to sort of like wake people up and say, hey, you can make a big difference, even though for most of us, retirement's very close. So it's a big challenge, but we can turn around and look behind us and set up the children in our family to have a different life than us.
I think no matter how old you are, you can still make a difference as
Yeah,
long as you start now. You
yeah,
probably have to actually, it'll be harder, and you have to actually put aside more money now to make
right.
up for all the years that you missed out. But it's never too late.
That's right.
And yeah. And with that, I have to go. I've got to go for my next appointment. It
Perfect.
was nice meeting all of y'all, and thanks so much for letting me into the Zoom session, Lyndah.
Yes, I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, I'll